Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Death Note. Last time on Death Note, we had Impatience. So, we had to do a deal in order to save Sayu, which was basically, they had to trade the Death Note in order to save Sayu from Mello. However, it was not the idea to give up the Death Note, but everything Light seemed to do failed spectacularly. Like, everything went wrong. And, the Death Note is now in the hands of Mello, and Sayu is safe, and Light will now be working with N in order to beat Mello, basically. Yeah, so, yeah, that was pretty much that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of Death Note is unfortunately not in this video due to copyright reasons that I've had in the past. So what you gotta do is head down in the description or to the pinned comment on this video, and there'll be a link there, and you can click that, and it'll take you to my reaction highlight, where the footage is in the corner. It's all edited nice and good, and you can watch that. You can hopefully have a good time. When you're done with that, you can pop right back over here to this YouTube video for the discussion. So with that all being said, we might as well get right into this episode of Death Note. Here we go. He died believing a lie. Because Light didn't own a Death Note. Because Light didn't own a Death Note. He could see the numbers. He had a Death Note on him, but he didn't own one, so his lifespan came back, and Thus, the chief thought that he wasn't Kira. And that's the thing, is that he died, but Light was going to have to kill him anyway. He was going to have to kill his own father. Because they knew the 13-day rule, and so if he had written Mello's name in the notebook, Light would have had to have killed him. That sucks. Chief was a good man. Man, I wonder, when does it end? When does it end for Light? His sister has been hospitalized. His father is dead. When does it end? Even after beating L, now he's been dealing with Mello. He still has to deal with Nier. There is a part of me now that hopes that Light won't win. Because, I've kind of been on board with him, mostly just because of how over the top he is. But now, you know what it is? Before it was the game. It was the game of trying, this great chess match. One of the greatest chess matches of all time between Kira and L. And now, I don't know what it is now, but there's something about it. It's like this needs to end. Now, that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm ready for this show to be over or anything. It's not that. I still love this show and I love these episodes, but it needs to end. The game. The great game has gone too far, honestly. And it needs to end within the narrative. It needs to end, and Kira needs to be stopped. On maybe the sole fact that... How did they say it? Soichiro? It's the only time they ever said his first name. I've been writing it down for a while, but that's the first time they've really said his name. Soichiro Yagami died believing a lie. A good man. He was a good man. And he died believing a lie. He died thinking that his son was not Kira. Which was going to happen anyway, even if he wrote down the name, Like, the fact that Light was willing to do it, Which is another interesting thing, is that he's not willing to kill his sister. Or at the very least, it didn't work out last episode. But he is more willing to kill his father in order to keep things up. Light almost... He's not human anymore. And I guess, he hasn't... How much has he been human while he's been Kira? But... I think this episode really cements it that it is time for Light to lose. It's time for the game to be over, The game needs to end. And I suppose, honestly, it needs to end one way or another. Good news is, we do know that we're coming to the end of the series, We're on episode 29, is what we just finished. And episode 37 is the final episode. And it kind of needs to end, And I guess it needs to end one way or another. Either Light needs to be defeated, or Light needs to just win and let it end, So... I'm to that point with the show. And again, the video cut out. Of course it did. I'm going to have to transfer the video clips real quick. You're seeing nothing, or maybe I froze the frame so that you just see a freeze frame. Just so you are aware, I was getting close to maximum capacity on my storage. The camera said I had 10 more minutes. Evidently, I do not. I'm sorry. 1 second. Sorry about this. 1 second. we're back, and we have the combination. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, we are back. Sometimes I really try to push how far I can get on the storage that I have, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But we're back. We have storage, and now we can keep talking about Death Note. So, let's go ahead and pop right into the notes here. The first thing I wrote down was Sinnoh? Was that his name? Sinnoh? The other Shinigami? Actually, why don't we try to find the credits? No, the credits are different. I never noticed. Ryuk, Watari, Misa, Rem, blah, 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 blah. Iber, Weddy. Man, they got everyone in here. Sido. Okay, that makes more sense. Sido. Alright. So, Sido. Interesting Shinigami. So, the whole thing was, because Ryuk had 2 Death Notes, didn't he? So this was the original Death Note that, Ryuk threw, tossed into the human world, and then Light took. That was Sido's notebook. That's very interesting. That's very interesting indeed, actually. So we no longer have the original notebook, which is kind of weird. But he was interesting. I liked him. I liked how, he was very, I don't know, just like his mannerisms were interesting, and then just him, I love him just taking it out of Mellow's hands, and, Mellow doesn't see him, and then, Mellow doesn't see him yet, and then, he throws it on the one guy, then he sees him, then they all touch it, and then they all see him, and he's just like, okay, so can I have my Death Note back? That was really funny. So I liked him. He was interesting. Not quite like Ryuk or Rem, but I enjoyed him. I wrote down November the 10th. So November the 10th, when this all went down, that was an interesting plan, having Kira call Yagami in order to get that Death Note back, basically. So, I thought that was very cool. I wrote down the eyes. Oh, the eyes. He had to do the deal. The chief had to make the Shinigami, the deal for the Shinigami eyes, which was pretty crazy. And that only to confirm that those guys were dead and to see Mellow's real name, which was interesting. And we do know now Mellow's real name as Mihail something. It was like Mihail Kale or something, I think, like that. It was something like that. With an interesting name, definitely. I don't know. That sounds sort of European, maybe a bit more Russian. So that was interesting. We did learn his name. So that's the thing is, Kira Light now knows his name, but I guess if he tries to do anything, they're gonna know that it was only Yagami. It was only the two of them that knew his name. So, and we also had Light saying I have to uphold the 13-day rule that they know about. The 13-day rule that they made up. So that meant that he was going to have to kill his father. Which again, either way, the chief was going to die. And both ways, he would have seen, because of what Light was doing, he was going to see that Light, had no ownership of a Death Note, therefore he was not Kira, and he would have died happy. So, that sucks, man. That just sucks. So yeah. Yeah, we did have the encounter. It is, I do kind of like, actually, Light did not count on the chief not writing down the name immediately. I thought that was interesting, that he didn't account for, honestly, his father's humanity. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting. And then Mello did get away. Light does know Mello's name, but it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't work out. Otherwise, he would have done it already, you know? So yeah. Now, with all that, you know, the big explosion, and they didn't die? How does that work? Like, the gigantic explosion, they didn't die, Mello didn't die. It's like, how did that work exactly? I didn't understand that, but anyway. And then the last thing I wrote down was the death of the chief. And that does suck, you know, and it is at this point, with everything that's happened, and, you know, with Light, with what he has done in the past 2 episodes, it's like, you know what, I think I'm ready. The game needs to end. Now, I'm ready. I'm here through, you know. I'm here through the ending, you know. I got to see how it ends, but this does need to come to an end. And luckily, we do know there's only 8 more episodes left. They're going to be a crazy 8 episodes. I already know that, but yeah, I'm very curious how this is all going to end, and I am ready for it to end. Either Kira wins or Kira loses. I'm ready for one of those two. And now we're on the final swing, I feel like. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wrote down. Great episode. Really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to get into the next one. So, yeah, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Death Note reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.